A shakeup tonight in the future of education in Maryland. Current Superintendent Mohammed Choudhury withdrawing his request for a second term, a move that comes after relentless investigation by our Project Baltimore team on transparency issues. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maxine Stryker.
And I'm Kai Jackson. Now, this development comes after the Board of Education delayed a vote on Choudhury's contracts.
We have team coverage tonight. Chris Papps reports on the transparency issues leading up to today. But first, Jeff Abel has the latest with reaction.
Well, it was just this past summer when the superintendent asked the state school board to extend his contract. But today, that course took another turn. Outside schools today, the news of the superintendent's departure hit many families by surprise.
It's really tough and disheartening because it seems like they gave up.
In a joint statement released this morning, school officials announced that State Superintendent Mohammed Choudhury has informed the state school board that he's withdrawing his request for a second term to pursue other opportunities. Choudhury was appointed to the post 2 years ago, but it's proven to be a turbulent tenure.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Last weekend, the governor showed signs of concern.
I want transparency, I want accountability, and I want a superintendent that believes in it and can deliver it. The results we're seeing right now are not satisfactory results, and I demand better, and we need to make sure that we're getting better results for our kids.
So there's that level as well.
There were also indications that Choudhury was losing support among members on the state school board,
as well as which
the board had delayed the approval of his contract extension, and today Senate Republicans made their position clear, writing in a statement, it was clear that Choudhury was not the right person to lead Maryland's public school system. His management style, as well as his lack of transparency and accessibility, were extremely concerning. Today, the governor thanked Choudhury for his service.
So I understand it was challenging, and I'm thankful for his service, but I also know that as a state, we've got to move faster. We need to have better results for our students.
Back at school, those on the front lines are learning a hard lesson about leadership.
It's tough to be a parent to witness this because you feel like you send your kids to school so they can get the education. Now they're not getting it, and the leaders of the community are giving up and moving on to better opportunities, right? But what does that mean for the kids? They're stuck.
It is still unclear when the superintendent will actually be leaving the department. The board will be discussing his transition at the end of the month. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
Well, this announcement follows a series of Project Baltimore investigations that raised some serious questions over transparency within the Maryland State Department of Education. As Chris Papps explains, the state school board was set to vote at the end of September on whether to offer Choudhury another contract, but that vote had already been delayed twice in the wake of Project Baltimore findings.
Mr. Superintendent, have you ever used the Signal application in commission of your job?
I have no comment. Thank you much. Appreciate it. For my
job? Well,
Project Baltimore last week first showed you that video.
you've never used Signal for your job?
No. Thank you.
State Superintendent Mohammed Choudhury denying he used an encrypted messaging app for work. But we obtained screenshots showing he used the Signal app to communicate with high-level employees at the Maryland State Department of Education. The Signal app allows users to enable a setting to automatically delete messages. And some of the screenshots we obtained, like this one, appear to show Choudhury berating an employee, which supports allegations that the state superintendent created a toxic workplace culture. But this was not the first time Choudhury came under fire.
There cannot continue to be scandal after scandal after scandal.
Project Baltimore also reported how Choudhury used a secondary email account to conduct state business, and that his state-issued cell phone was set to auto-delete text messages after 30 days. 12 of Choudhury's text messages were deleted after Fox 45 filed a public records request to obtain them, a potential violation of state law.
And it's dishonest. It's hiding the ball. It's hiding the truth from parents.
I am revamping the template.
Our investigation into the state superintendent started months ago when we analyzed state test results and found 23 Baltimore City schools where 0 students among those tested scored proficient in math. Shortly after we reported those results, the Maryland State Department of Education took the test scores off its website, heavily redacted them, and then reposted them. A move that kept parents and taxpayers from seeing how poorly some schools are performing.
Mr. Choudhury.
That decision by MSDE sparked backlash. But when we tried to question Choudhury about it,
Scores on the website.
he locked himself behind a door.
We're asking for the resignation of this individual, this state superintendent.
This week, in light of all of Project Baltimore's findings, 3 Republican lawmakers took a strong stance, calling on Choudhury to resign immediately.
This I pondered for months, taking this stand, but we need, because of our children.
I think the toxicity of his leadership and the fact that so many people are leaving the education system is a good indicator that he's not the right person for the job.
In the wake of Fox 45's findings, the Attorney General, State Prosecutor, and Inspector General for Education had all been called on by lawmakers and special interest groups to launch investigations into the superintendent's actions. And with time running out before the state board was set to make a decision, Governor Wes Moore, a Democrat, also came out strong this week when asked about Project Baltimore's reporting.
I want transparency, I want accountability, and I want a superintendent that believes in it and can deliver it.
Moore, who has repeatedly said he has no control over the state school board's decision to offer the superintendent another contract,
as well as
did have a strong opinion on Choudhury's performance.
The results we're seeing right now are not satisfactory results, and I demand better, and we need to make sure that we're getting better results for our kids.
Now, just 5 days after the governor said he demands better, Choudhury announced he will withdraw his request for a second contract as superintendent.
6% of the students were...
Project Baltimore has reached out to the state school board, asking when parents and taxpayers can expect more transparency. The transparency the governor and other lawmakers demanded. And we're asking whether MSDE will reverse course on its decision from earlier this year to heavily redact state test scores. As we receive updates, we'll pass them on to you. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
You can trust Fox 45 News to keep you up to date on the process to choose the next superintendent. Fox 45 News and our Project Baltimore will keep pushing for accountability and transparency.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.